Apologizing is a sign of maturity when it's deserved. But many people apologize out of habit, fear, or the need to keep the peace, even when they've done nothing wrong. Over-apologizing slowly erodes confidence, blurs your boundaries, and teaches others that you'll take responsibility for things that were never your fault. Today, we're talking about 10 times you should never ever apologize to anyone, because self-respect matters more than forced politeness. 1. For having boundaries. One of the biggest mistakes people make is apologizing for protecting their peace. Somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that being nice meant being available all the time, saying yes to every request, and tolerating behavior that made us uncomfortable. But real maturity isn't about endless accommodation. It's about knowing where you end and someone else begins. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors with locks. They let the right people in and keep the wrong energy out. And you are the only one who has the key. Yet the moment you say, "I'm not comfortable with that," or "I can't help right now," you may notice something interesting. Some people will act surprised. Others may call you selfish, distant, or difficult. Why? Because your boundaries interrupt their expectations. And when people are used to your constant availability, your limits can feel like rejection, even when they're not. But here's the truth. Anyone who gets angry at your boundaries was benefiting from you having none. You don't need to apologize for needing time alone. You don't need to apologize for saying no. You don't need to apologize for refusing to tolerate disrespect. And you definitely don't need to apologize for choosing your mental health over someone else's convenience. Every time you say sorry for setting a boundary, you send a dangerous message to others and to yourself. You teach people that your limits are negotiable, that your comfort is optional, that your needs come second. Over time, this creates a pattern where you feel drained, resentful, and emotionally exhausted, all because you were afraid to be seen as rude or difficult. But boundaries aren't rude. They are honest. Think about it. When someone says, "I can't talk right now, but I'll call you later," they're not being cruel, they're being clear. And clarity is a form of respect, both for themselves and for the other person. Healthy people understand boundaries. They may not always like them, but they respect them. Toxic people, on the other hand, see boundaries as obstacles. They push, guilt trip, manipulate, or play the victim. And when you finally stand your ground, they expect an apology, as if your self-respect is an inconvenience. It's not. You are allowed to protect your time. You are allowed to protect your energy. You are allowed to protect your peace. And the people who truly care about you will adjust. They won't demand explanations, emotional essays, or endless justifications. They'll simply understand, because real relationships don't require you to shrink yourself to be accepted. In fact, the moment you stop apologizing for your boundaries is the moment your life begins to change. You'll notice who respects you and who only valued your compliance. You'll see who stays when you stop overextending yourself. And most importantly, you'll start to feel lighter because you're no longer carrying responsibilities that were never yours to begin with. Boundaries are not punishments. They are instructions on how to treat you. And you should never ever apologize for giving people that clarity. Example: imagine you have a friend who constantly calls you late at night to vent about their problems. At first, you answer every call because you care. But over time, you start losing sleep. You feel drained the next day, and your own responsibilities begin to suffer. One night, The phone rings at 1 a.m. again. This time, instead of picking up and apologizing for being tired, you send a message, "Hey, I care about you, but I can't take late-night calls anymore. Let's talk tomorrow during the day." If they respect you, they'll understand. If they get angry, guilt-trip you, or say you've changed, that tells you everything you need to know. Because someone who truly values you won't expect you to sacrifice your well-being for their comfort. So the next time you set a boundary, don't follow it with sorry. Follow it with confidence. 2. For protecting your peace. Peace is expensive, not in money, but in decisions. It costs you late nights, difficult conversations, uncomfortable truths, and sometimes even people you once thought you'd keep forever. And yet, despite how valuable peace is, so many people feel the need to apologize the moment they choose it over chaos. You've probably done it before. You decline an invitation because you're mentally exhausted, and you say, "I'm sorry, I just need some time alone." You stop engaging in drama, and you say, "Sorry, I just don't want to get involved." You distance yourself from someone who constantly drains you, and you say, "I'm sorry, I just need space." But here's the truth. You should never apologize for protecting your peace. Peace is not selfish, it's survival. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your energy, and your emotional labor, choosing peace is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. It means you've reached a point where your mental health matters more than being liked, where your calm matters more than being constantly available, where your well-being matters more than keeping everyone else comfortable. And that kind of growth can make people uncomfortable, because when you stop entertaining drama, the drama loses its audience. When you stop arguing, the argument has no fuel. When you stop explaining yourself to people who don't listen, the confusion exposes itself. Some people aren't used to the peaceful version of you. They're used to the version that tolerated chaos, answered every call, fixed every problem, and carried every emotional burden. So when you suddenly choose silence over stress, distance over dysfunction, or calm over conflict, they may accuse you of being cold, distant, or selfish. But protecting your peace doesn't make you cold, it makes you wise. You start realizing that not every argument deserves your voice, not every invitation deserves your presence, not every relationship deserves your energy. Sometimes peace looks like turning your phone off. Sometimes it looks like not replying to that message. Sometimes it looks like walking away without a dramatic speech or final explanation. And none of that requires an apology. Apologizing for protecting your peace sends a dangerous message. It tells others that your calm is negotiable, that your comfort is optional, that your emotional stability can be traded for their convenience. Over time, this creates a pattern where you constantly sacrifice your inner balance just to avoid disappointing others. But peace is not something you should have to earn. It is something you choose. Think about it this way. If a room is filled with noise, tension, and negativity, and you quietly step outside for fresh air, are you doing something wrong? Of course not. You're simply choosing an environment that feels healthier for you. Life works the same way. Not every space deserves your presence. Not every conversation deserves your participation. And not every person deserves your energy. The strongest people are not the ones who win every argument or please everyone around them. The strongest people are the ones who know when to step back, when to let go, and when to choose peace over pride. Because peace is power. It's the ability to walk away without needing the last word. It's the strength to stay silent when chaos demands a reaction. It's the wisdom to understand that not every battle is worth fighting. And the moment you stop apologizing for protecting your peace is the moment your life becomes quieter, lighter, and more intentional. Example: imagine you work in an office where gossip is part of the daily routine. Every lunch break turns into a discussion about who's in trouble, who's dating who, and who made a mistake. At first you participate because you don't want to seem antisocial, but over time you notice it drains you. The negativity lingers in your mind even after work. One day, instead of joining the group, you decide to spend your lunch break outside, listening to music or reading. A coworker approaches you and says, "Why don't you hang out with us anymore? You've changed." Instead of apologizing and forcing yourself back into an environment that stresses you, you simply reply, "I just prefer a quieter break. It helps me reset." No apology, no guilt, just a calm, honest decision. Because protecting your peace is not something you should ever feel sorry for. It's something you should feel proud of. 3. For taking time to heal. We live in a world that celebrates speed, fast success, fast replies, fast recoveries. People expect you to bounce back from heartbreak, disappointment, loss, and betrayal, as if your emotions have an on-off switch. One day you're hurt, the next day you're supposed to be over it. And if you're not, someone inevitably says, "You need to move on," or "It's not that serious," or worse. Why are you still stuck on that? And then comes the apology. "I'm sorry. I just need more time. I'm sorry. I'm not myself lately. I'm sorry. I'm not ready yet." But here's the truth. You should never apologize for taking time to heal. Healing is not a performance. It's not something you rush through to make other people comfortable. It's not a deadline you meet. It's a process, sometimes slow, sometimes messy, sometimes confusing, and often invisible to everyone except you. When something hurts you deeply, whether it's betrayal, rejection, failure, or loss, it leaves marks. Not all wounds are visible. Some live in your thoughts. Some show up in your confidence. Some affect how you trust, love, or see yourself. And just because someone else thinks you should be over it, doesn't mean your heart got the memo. Healing takes time because emotions don't follow schedules. You can't just decide to stop feeling pain because it's inconvenient. You can't erase memories because they're uncomfortable. You can't rebuild trust in a day when it took years to break. But society often pressures people to pretend they're fine, to smile when they're hurting, to laugh when they're still grieving, to jump into new relationships before the old wounds have even closed. Why? Because other people are uncomfortable with your pain. Your sadness reminds them of their own fears. Your silence makes them uneasy. Your distance disrupts their expectations. So they rush you, not because it's best for you, but because it's easier for them. But healing is personal. It doesn't belong to anyone else. It's not your job to recover on someone else's timeline. Some days, healing looks like progress. Other days, it looks like rest. And sometimes, it looks like taking a step back before you can move forward again. There is nothing weak about needing time. In fact, it takes strength to admit that you're not okay. It takes courage to step away from situations, people, or habits that reopen old wounds. It takes self-respect to say, "I'm not ready yet," even when others expect you to be. And the moment you start apologizing for your healing process, you start minimizing your own pain. You start acting as if your emotions are an inconvenience to others, as if your recovery should be quick, quiet, and invisible. But real healing isn't neat. It's not always graceful, and it certainly isn't instant. Sometimes healing means saying no to invitations because you need space. Sometimes it means going quiet while you figure yourself out. Sometimes it means choosing solitude over company, reflection over distraction, and growth over comfort. And none of that requires an apology, because the people who truly care about you will understand. They won't rush you. They won't pressure you. They won't treat your pain like a problem that needs to be fixed quickly. They'll give you the time and space you need, without making you feel guilty for it. Healing is not a weakness. It's an investment in your future self. The stronger you heal, the stronger you become. Sadas, the deeper you heal, the wiser you grow, and the more honestly you heal, the more authentic your life becomes. So take your time, take your space, take your breath, and never say sorry for choosing to heal properly, instead of pretending you're fine. Example: imagine you've just gone through a painful breakup. It wasn't just any relationship. It was someone you planned your future with. After it ends, you feel lost. Your energy is low, your confidence is shaken, and even simple tasks feel heavy. A few weeks later, your friends invite you to a big party. Say you need to get out there, or you'll meet someone new. But deep down you know you're not ready. The thought of crowded rooms and forced conversations feels exhausting. Instead of going and pretending you're okay, you say, "Thanks for the invite, but I'm taking some time for myself right now." No long explanation, no guilt, no apology. You spend the evening journaling, watching a movie, or simply resting. Sadas, and slowly, day by day, you start to feel like yourself again. Because real healing doesn't happen in a rush, and it definitely doesn't come with an apology. 4. For speaking the truth respectfully. There's a strange rule in many social circles. People claim they want honesty, but the moment you give it to them, they get uncomfortable. Suddenly, you're too direct, too harsh, or too much. And before you know it, you find yourself saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that," even when you spoke calmly, respectfully, and with good intentions. But here's the truth about truth. If it's honest, respectful, and necessary, you should never apologize for saying it. Speaking the truth respectfully is one of the highest forms of emotional maturity. It requires courage, clarity, and integrity. It means you care enough about a person or about yourself to be real, even when it's uncomfortable. But many people are conditioned to avoid honesty. They sugarcoat everything. They hide their feelings. They pretend things are fine when they're not. And over time, this creates a life full of silent resentment, unspoken frustrations, and relationships built on polite lies instead of genuine understanding. The problem is, people often confuse honesty with cruelty. They think truth automatically equals conflict. They think directness equals disrespect. But the real issue isn't truth, it's delivery. There's a big difference between "you're always messing things up," "what's wrong with you?" and "I feel stressed when deadlines are missed." Can we find a better system? One is an attack, the other is honest, respectful communication. And when you speak the second way, calm, clear, and respectful, you have nothing to apologize for. Because truth, when delivered with respect, is not an insult, it's clarity. In fact, honest communication prevents bigger problems later. When people avoid the truth, issues don't disappear, they grow. Small misunderstandings become big conflicts. Minor annoyances turn into deep resentment. And relationships that could have been strong slowly fall apart because no one had the courage to say what needed to be said. Speaking the truth respectfully is not about being right. It's about being real. It's about saying what needs to be said without trying to hurt anyone. It's about choosing honesty over comfort, clarity over confusion, and integrity over approval. Yet, many people apologize after speaking honestly because they're afraid of being disliked. They fear confrontation. They want to be seen as kind, agreeable, and easygoing. So the moment someone reacts negatively, they retreat and say sorry, even when they've done nothing wrong. But here's the important question. Are you apologizing because you were disrespectful, or because someone didn't like the truth? There's a huge difference if you insulted someone, raised your voice, or spoke out of anger. Then yes, an apology may be necessary. But if you were calm, respectful, and honest, and the other person simply didn't like what they heard, that's not something you need to be sorry for. Truth isn't always comfortable. Growth rarely is. Sometimes the truth challenges people. Sometimes it exposes mistakes. Sometimes it forces them to reflect on their behavior. And not everyone is ready for that. But their discomfort doesn't automatically mean you were wrong. Honest, respectful communication builds stronger relationships in the long run. It creates trust. It removes confusion. It allows both people to understand each other better. And most importantly, it allows you to stay true to yourself. Because every time you apologize for respectfully telling the truth, you start to silence your own voice. You begin to question your instincts. You start choosing comfort over honesty, and slowly, you lose the authenticity that makes your relationships real. You are not responsible for how others react to the truth. You are only responsible for how you deliver it. So speak calmly, speak clearly, speak respectfully, but don't say sorry just because someone didn't want to hear what you had to say. Example: imagine you have a coworker who constantly arrives late to meetings, which delays everyone else. It starts affecting your workflow and creates unnecessary stress. Instead of staying silent or gossiping behind their back, you decide to speak to them privately. You say, "Hey, I just wanted to mention something. When meetings start late, it throws off the rest of my schedule. I'd really appreciate it if we could all try to be on time." Your tone is calm, your words are respectful, your intention is constructive, but the coworker gets defensive and says, "Wow, I didn't know you had a problem with me." At that moment, you might feel the urge to say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that." But the truth is, you spoke respectfully and honestly. You didn't insult them. You didn't embarrass them. You simply expressed a valid concern. So instead of apologizing, you calmly respond, "I'm not trying to attack you. I just wanted to be honest so we can work better as a team." No guilt, no unnecessary apology, just respectful truth. Because honesty, when delivered with respect, is not something you should ever feel sorry for. 5. For walking away from toxic situations. One of the hardest things to do in life is leave something or someone you once cared about. Not because it's good for you, but because it's familiar, because there's history, because there are memories, because part of you keeps hoping things will change. And when you finally gather the courage to walk away, what do many people do? They apologize. "I'm sorry, I just can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, I need to step back. I'm sorry, but this isn't healthy for me." But here's the truth. You should never apologize for walking away from a toxic situation. Leaving toxicity is not betrayal. It's not selfish. It's not cruel. it's survival. Toxic situations rarely look toxic at the beginning. They often start with charm, excitement, or connection. But over time, the pattern becomes clear. You feel drained more often than you feel happy. You start questioning your worth. You feel anxious instead of safe. You give more than you receive. And somehow, no matter how hard you try, it's never enough. Toxic environments have a way of making you feel responsible for problems you didn't create. They make you feel guilty for setting limits. They make you feel selfish for wanting peace. And when you finally decide to leave, they make you feel like you're the one doing something wrong. But ask yourself this: if a place, person, or situation consistently hurts you, why should you apologize for leaving it? You don't apologize for stepping out of a burning building. You don't apologize for removing your hand from a hot stove. And you shouldn't apologize for leaving situations that damage your mental, emotional, or physical well-being. The truth is, many toxic situations only survive because of your tolerance. They rely on your patience, your empathy, your forgiveness, and your willingness to stay. And the moment you decide to walk away, the dynamic changes. Suddenly, you're called dramatic, selfish, ungrateful, cold, disloyal, but those labels are often just emotional pressure designed to pull you back into the same unhealthy cycle. Toxic people don't fear losing you because they love you. They fear losing you because they're used to you, used to your time, used to your energy, used to your forgiveness, used to your silence. And when you finally break that pattern, they may expect an apology, as if your self-respect is an inconvenience. But you are not responsible for making toxic situations comfortable. You are responsible for making your life healthy. Walking away takes strength. It takes clarity. It takes the courage to choose long-term peace over short-term comfort. It means letting go of familiarity. It means accepting that some people will misunderstand you. And it means choosing yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable. But every time you stay in a toxic environment, you pay a price. Your confidence drops. Your energy fades. Your happiness becomes rare. And slowly, you start losing the version of yourself you used to be. Walking away is not weakness. It is self-respect in motion. It's the moment you decide that your peace matters more than their approval. It's the moment you stop trying to fix what keeps breaking you. It's the moment you realize that staying is more painful than leaving. And when you reach that point, you don't owe anyone an apology, because leaving toxicity is not an offense. It's a decision to live better. Example: imagine you have a friend who constantly puts you down in front of others. They make jokes about your appearance, your job, or your choices. When you confront them, they say, "Relax, I'm just joking. You're too sensitive." At first, you brush it off. You tell yourself it's not a big deal, but over time you notice you feel tense around them. You rehearse conversations in your head before meeting them. You leave hangouts feeling worse about yourself. One day, they make another humiliating comment in front of a group. Instead of laughing it off, you calmly say, "I don't like being spoken to that way. I'm going to distance myself from this friendship." They respond, "Wow, you're really going to end a friendship over a joke? That's harsh." In that moment, you might feel the urge to apologize, but you don't, because you're not ending the friendship over a joke. You're leaving a pattern of disrespect. So you simply say, "I just want to be around people who treat me with respect." And you walk away. No apology, no guilt, no looking back. Because choosing a healthier environment is never something you should feel sorry for. 6. for setting standards in relationships. There's a quiet pressure in many relationships, romantic friendships, even family connections, to be easygoing, to not ask for too much, to not expect too much, to just be grateful someone is in your life at all. And because of that pressure, many people lower their standards just to keep someone around. They tolerate disrespect. They ignore red flags. They accept the bare minimum. And when they finally speak up and say, "I deserve better," they often follow it with an apology. "I'm sorry if my expectations are too high. I'm sorry, I just need more effort. I'm sorry, I just want to feel respected." But here's the truth. You should never apologize for setting standards in your relationships. Standards are not demands. They are not arrogance. They are not selfish. They are self-respect. Standards are simply the minimum level of behavior you're willing to accept from others. They reflect how you see yourself, what you value, and what kind of environment you want to live in emotionally. If you respect yourself, you'll expect respect. If you value honesty, you'll expect honesty. If you give effort, you'll expect effort. And there is nothing wrong with that. The problem is, when you start raising your standards, some people get uncomfortable, not because your standards are unreasonable, but because they can no longer meet them without changing their behavior. And instead of growing, they try to make you feel guilty. They'll say things like, "You're asking for too much. No one's perfect. You've changed. You're too demanding. You're hard to please." But often what they call too much is simply the basic respect they were never used to giving you. When someone benefits from your low standards, your growth feels like a threat to them, because now they have to either step up or step out. And some people would rather lose you than grow. That's why so many people apologize for their standards. They're afraid of losing the relationship. They'd rather shrink their expectations than risk being alone. They think it's better to accept less than to demand what they truly deserve. But here's the reality. Low standards don't create strong relationships. They create comfortable dysfunction. When you accept the bare minimum, you teach people that minimal effort is enough. When you tolerate disrespect, you show people that your boundaries are flexible. And when you apologize for your standards, you make it seem like self-respect is something to be sorry for. But standards are not punishments. They are filters. They help you recognize who truly values you and who just enjoys your presence when it's convenient. They reveal who's willing to grow with you and who only liked the version of you that accepted less. Healthy people respect your standards. They don't feel threatened by them. They don't call you difficult for wanting honesty, effort, and respect. Instead, they appreciate your clarity. They value the structure it brings to the relationship. And they step up because they want to, not because they feel forced. Because the right people don't see your standards as obstacles. They see them as instructions on how to love you properly. And the moment you stop apologizing for your standards, everything changes. You stop chasing people who don't meet them. You stop explaining why basic respect matters. You stop settling for crumbs when you deserve a full meal. You begin to attract people who naturally align with your values. People who don't need reminders to treat you well. People who see your standards not as a challenge, but as a reflection of your worth. Because standards don't push the right people away. They only scare off the wrong ones. And that's not something you should apologize for. Example, imagine you're in a relationship where your partner rarely communicates. They disappear for days without explanation, cancel plans at the last minute, and only reach out when it's convenient for them. At first you try to be understanding. You tell yourself they're just busy. You don't want to seem needy. But over time, you start feeling unimportant and overlooked. One day, you decide to speak up. You say, "I value consistency and communication in a relationship. I need someone who makes time for me and follows through on plans." Your partner responds, "Wow, you're asking for too much." Not everyone can be perfect. In that moment, you might feel the urge to say, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to pressure you." But the truth is, you're not asking for perfection. You're asking for basic respect and effort. So instead you calmly reply, "I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for consistency. That's important to me." No apology, no guilt, just a clear standard. Because knowing your worth and expecting to be treated accordingly is never something you should feel sorry for. 7. For outgrowing people, one of the quietest yet most painful parts of personal growth is realizing that not everyone can come with you to your next chapter. You don't always notice it at first. It happens slowly, almost invisibly. Conversations start to feel different. The jokes don't land the same way. The things that once excited you now feel empty. And the people you once felt deeply connected to suddenly feel distant. Not because they're bad, not because you're better, but because you've grown in different directions. And when that realization finally becomes clear, many people respond with guilt. They start apologizing. "I'm sorry, I've just been busy. I'm sorry, I can't hang out like before. I'm sorry, I'm not the same person anymore." But here's the truth. You should never apologize for outgrowing people. Growth changes you. It changes your mindset, your priorities, your habits, and your values. The things you once tolerated, you may no longer accept. The environments you once enjoyed may now feel uncomfortable. The conversations that once entertained you may now feel shallow. And that's not arrogance, that's evolution. Outgrowing people doesn't always mean someone did something wrong. Sometimes it simply means your paths are no longer aligned. You want different things. You're focused on different goals. You're becoming a different version of yourself, and there is nothing wrong with that. The problem is, society often romanticizes loyalty to the point of self-destruction. We're told to stick with people no matter what, to stay close because of history, because of childhood memories, because we've been friends forever. But time alone does not guarantee a healthy connection. Just because someone was part of your past doesn't mean they're meant to be part of your future. And just because you shared memories doesn't mean you must share the same direction in life. Sometimes growth creates distance, not out of hatred, but out of necessity. When you start focusing on your goals, some people may call you too serious. When you stop partying every weekend, they may say you've changed. When you stop gossiping or engaging in negativity, they may say you're boring or acting different. But what they're really noticing is your growth. And growth often makes people uncomfortable, especially those who are not growing themselves. Some people don't miss you. They miss the version of you they were comfortable with, the version that accepted their behavior, the version that stayed in the same routines, the version that didn't challenge their mindset. And when you change, they feel the shift. Suddenly the dynamic is different. The energy is different, and instead of adjusting, they may try to guilt you into staying the same. They'll say, "You think you're better than us now. You've changed. You forgot where you came from. You're not the same person anymore." But here's the truth. You're not supposed to be the same person forever. Growth is the whole point of life. If you're still thinking, acting, and living exactly the same way you did years ago, something is wrong. Growth means evolving. It means learning. It means letting go of habits, environments, and sometimes even people that no longer match who you're becoming. And that doesn't make you disloyal. It makes you honest. Apologizing for outgrowing people sends the message that your growth is a problem, that your progress is an inconvenience, that you should shrink yourself to preserve old dynamics. But real friends don't want you to stay small. Real friends celebrate your growth, even if it creates distance, because true connections aren't based on habits or convenience. They're based on mutual respect, understanding, and alignment. And sometimes that alignment fades, and that's okay. Outgrowing someone doesn't always mean cutting them off dramatically. Sometimes it just means less contact, fewer shared spaces, or different priorities. It means accepting that your lives are moving in different directions and allowing that to happen without guilt. Because growth is not betrayal, it's transformation, and the right people won't punish you for becoming a better version of yourself. Example: imagine you have a group of friends you've known since high school. Back then, you all spent weekends partying, skipping responsibilities, and living in the moment. It was fun, carefree, and exciting. But as the years pass, you start focusing on your career, your health, and your future. You wake up earlier. You spend weekends working on your goals or resting. You stop going out as much. Your friends begin to notice. They tease you, saying, "You've become boring," or "You think you're better than us now." They invite you out constantly, and when you decline, they act offended. One night, they pressure you again. Instead of apologizing and forcing yourself into a lifestyle you've outgrown, you calmly say, "I just have different priorities now. I still care about you all, but I'm focused on different things." No apology, no guilt, just growth. Because you're not abandoning them, you're simply moving forward. And moving forward is never something you should be sorry for. 8. For having emotions. Somewhere along the way, many people learned a dangerous lesson. Emotions are a weakness. Crying is embarrassing. Anger is unattractive. Sadness is inconvenient. And vulnerability, that's something you should hide at all costs. So what do people do? They apologize for feeling. "I'm sorry I'm so emotional. I'm sorry I'm upset. I'm sorry I'm crying. I'm sorry I don't know why this is affecting me so much." But here's the truth. You should never apologize for having emotions. Emotions are not flaws in your personality. They are not defects in your character. They are not signs that something is wrong with you. They are part of being human. In fact, your ability to feel deeply is one of the most natural and powerful aspects of who you are. Think about it. If you never felt sadness, would you truly appreciate happiness? If you never felt anger, would you recognize injustice? If you never felt fear, would you protect yourself from danger? Emotions are not your enemies. They are your internal signals. Sadness tells you something matters. Anger tells you a boundary has been crossed. Fear tells you to be cautious. Joy tells you what brings you life. But in many environments, families, workplaces, social groups, emotions are treated like inconveniences. People are expected to stay calm, composed, and agreeable at all times. And when someone expresses how they truly feel, they're often told to relax, stop overreacting, or get over it. So what happens? People start suppressing their emotions. They bottle them up. They pretend they're fine. And over time, those unexpressed feelings don't disappear. They build up. They turn into stress, resentment, anxiety, or emotional numbness. Then one day, everything spills over. And when it does, they apologize. But you should never feel sorry for feeling. Your emotions are not a burden to others. They are part of your experience. Of course, how you express your emotions matters. There's a difference between feeling angry and screaming at someone. There's a difference between feeling hurt and lashing out. But the emotion itself, that's not something you should apologize for. You are allowed to feel hurt when someone disrespects you. You are allowed to feel sad when something ends. You are allowed to feel frustrated when things go wrong. You are allowed to feel overwhelmed when life becomes too heavy. Emotions are not weaknesses. They are evidence that you care. The real problem isn't that people have emotions. The problem is that many people were never taught how to handle them in healthy ways. So instead of learning emotional intelligence, they learned emotional suppression. They were told, stop crying. Be strong. Don't show weakness. Keep it together. But true strength is not the absence of emotion. True strength is the ability to feel deeply without losing control. It's the ability to say, I'm hurt, instead of pretending you're fine. It's the ability to admit, this matters to me. It's the ability to express your feelings without shame. Because the moment you start apologizing for your emotions, you start invalidating your own experiences. You begin to believe that your feelings are problems instead of signals. And over time, you disconnect from yourself. You stop trusting your instincts. You stop listening to your needs. You stop honoring your inner voice. And that's where real damage happens. Healthy relationships, environments, and communities make space for emotions. They don't punish you for feeling. They don't shame you for expressing yourself. They allow room for vulnerability, honesty, and authenticity. Because emotions are not obstacles to connection. They are the foundation of it. And the people who truly care about you won't expect you to be emotionless. They won't demand constant strength or positivity. They'll understand that you're human, and humans feel. So the next time you feel the urge to say, I'm sorry for being emotional, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, did I do something wrong? Or did I simply feel something real? Because there is a difference, and you should never apologize for the simple act of being human. Example, imagine you've worked for months on an important project. You've put in late nights, sacrificed your free time, and given it your best effort. When the results come in, the project is rejected, and all that work feels wasted. You feel disappointed, frustrated, maybe even a little heartbroken. During a conversation with a colleague, your voice cracks slightly as you talk about it. Your first instinct might be to say, sorry, I'm just being emotional. But instead you pause and say, I put a lot into this, so yeah, it's disappointing. I just need a little time to process it. No apology, no shame, just honesty. Because feeling something deeply is not a flaw. It's a sign that you cared. 9. For being different from a very young age, most people are taught the same silent lesson. Fit in. Don't stand out too much. Don't be too loud, too quiet, too bold, too strange, too creative, or too unique. Stay within the lines. Follow the crowd. Blend in with everyone else. And if you don't, you're labeled as weird, difficult, dramatic, or too much. So what do many people do? They shrink themselves. They soften their personality. They hide their interests. They change the way they talk, dress, think, or act, just to avoid standing out. And when their true self slips through, They quickly say, "Sorry, that's just how I am," as if being different is something to apologize for. But here's the truth. You should never apologize for being different. Being different is not a flaw. It's not a mistake. It's not something that needs to be corrected. It's what makes you memorable, valuable, and real. Think about the people who truly inspire the world. The innovators, the artists, the leaders, the thinkers. None of them were copies. None of them blended in quietly. They stood out. They challenged norms. They thought differently. They acted differently. And because of that, they changed things. Difference is the birthplace of progress. If everyone thought the same, the world would never move forward. If everyone acted the same, creativity would disappear. If everyone lived the same life, individuality would have no meaning. But society often rewards conformity. It praises people who follow the script, the ones who dress the right way, talk the right way, and live the expected way. And when someone steps outside those invisible rules, they're often met with confusion or criticism. "You're so different. Why can't you just be normal? Do you always have to be like that? You're not like everyone else." And instead of taking those words as compliments, many people treat them like insults. They start questioning themselves. They start wondering if something is wrong with them. And eventually, they start apologizing for who they are. But being different is not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of. Your differences are what make you stand out in a world full of copies. They are the reason people remember you. They are the reason your voice matters. They are the reason you bring something unique to every room you enter. Imagine a world where every song sounded the same. Every painting looked identical. Every person had the same personality. It would be dull, predictable, lifeless. Difference adds color to the world. It creates contrast, creativity, and character. And yet many people spend years trying to become someone else. They follow trends that don't feel right. They adopt opinions that aren't truly theirs. They stay silent about their passions because they fear judgment, all just to fit in. But fitting in often comes at a cost. The cost of authenticity, the cost of self-expression, the cost of living a life that actually feels like yours. And the moment you start apologizing for being different, you start giving away pieces of your identity. You start telling the world that your uniqueness is a problem instead of a strength. But the truth is, the right people will never ask you to be someone else. They won't demand that you change your personality, your interests, or your perspective just to make them comfortable. They'll appreciate you for who you are, because the right people aren't looking for copies. They're looking for authenticity, and authenticity is never ordinary. When you embrace your differences, you attract people who genuinely connect with you, not with a filtered version of you, not with a watered-down version of you, but with the real, unedited, unapologetic version of you. And that's where true connection lives. So whether you think differently, dress differently, speak differently, dream differently, or live differently, don't apologize for it, because the things that make you different are often the things that make you powerful. Example, imagine you work in an office where everyone follows the same routine. They talk about the same topics, dress in similar styles, and stick to the same predictable patterns. But you have a more creative personality. You like bold colors, unusual ideas, and thinking outside the box. One day, you present a creative solution to a problem during a meeting. It's different from the usual approaches, and some co-workers exchange confused looks. One of them says, "That's interesting. You always think so differently." For a moment, you might feel the urge to laugh it off and say, "Sorry, I know I'm a bit weird," but instead, you smile and reply, "Yeah, I like looking at things from a different angle." Sometimes, that's where the best ideas come from. No apology, no self-doubt, just confidence. Because being different isn't something to hide, it's something to own. 10. For being yourself. One of the strangest things about life is this: the very thing that makes you unique, your personality, your voice, your perspective, is often the thing the world tries to reshape. From childhood, you're told how to behave, how to speak, how to dress, how to think, and even how to dream. There are expectations everywhere: family expectations, social expectations, cultural expectations, professional expectations, and somewhere in the middle of all those voices, it becomes easy to lose your own. So many people grow up learning to perform instead of live. They become the version of themselves that gets the most approval, the version that avoids criticism, the version that keeps the peace. And when their real personality starts to show, they quickly soften it with an apology. "Sorry, that's just how I am. Sorry, I'm kind of weird. Sorry, I talk too much. Sorry, I'm too quiet. Sorry, I'm not like everyone else." But here's the truth: you should never apologize for being yourself. Being yourself is not a mistake. It's not a flaw. It's not something that needs to be corrected. It's your greatest strength. The world is already full of copies, people trying to look like someone else, act like someone else, or live someone else's life. Social media makes it even worse. You scroll through endless images of perfect lifestyles, perfect bodies, perfect relationships, perfect careers, and without even realizing it, you start comparing your life to theirs. You start wondering, should I be more like that? Should I act more like them? Should I change who I am to be more accepted? And slowly, piece by piece, you start editing yourself. You hide certain interests. You tone down your personality. You silence your opinions. You pretend to enjoy things you don't actually like. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You follow paths that don't feel right, just because they seem more acceptable, all in the name of fitting in. But here's the problem: the more you try to be someone else, the further you drift from your real self. And that distance creates a quiet kind of unhappiness, a feeling that something is off, a sense that you're living a life that looks right from the outside, but doesn't feel right on the inside. That's the cost of not being yourself. And when your true personality finally shows up, when you express a real opinion, pursue a real passion, or reveal a real part of who you are, some people may not like it. They may find it unusual, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. And in that moment, many people apologize. But you were not created to live as a watered-down version of someone else. You were not designed to fit perfectly into everyone's expectations. You were not meant to trade your authenticity for approval, because approval is temporary. But self-respect lasts a lifetime. When you start apologizing for being yourself, you send a message to others and to your own mind that your natural personality is a problem, that your true voice needs permission, that your real identity needs to be softened, filtered, or hidden. But authenticity is not something you should feel guilty about. It's something you should protect. The right people won't need a polished, edited, or perfected version of you. They'll appreciate the real you, the one who laughs the way you laugh, thinks the way you think, and lives the way you live. They won't say, "Change so I can accept you." They'll say, "Stay exactly as you are," because real connections don't come from pretending. They come from authenticity, from honesty, from showing up as you truly are, without the constant fear of being judged or rejected. And here's something powerful to remember. Every time you choose to be yourself, you give other people permission to do the same. Your authenticity creates space for others to be authentic. Your confidence encourages others to embrace who they are. Your honesty makes the world a little more real, a little less fake, and a lot more meaningful. So the next time someone reacts to your personality, your interests, or your choices with confusion or criticism, resist the urge to apologize. Because being yourself is not an offense, it's your birthright. Example: imagine you're in a group of co-workers who all share the same hobbies, sports, nightlife, and trendy social events. But your interests are different. You love reading, creative writing, and quiet evenings at home. One day during lunch, they're talking about the latest party, and someone turns to you and asks, "So what did you do this weekend?" You reply honestly, "I stayed in and worked on a short story I'm writing." They laugh lightly and say, "You're always doing something different. You're kind of an odd one." For a moment you feel the familiar urge to smile awkwardly and say, "Yeah, sorry, I'm just weird like that." But instead you shrug and say with confidence, "Maybe, but I enjoy it. It makes me happy." No apology, no shame, just authenticity. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs the real you. Apologies have their place, but they were never meant to be used as chains that hold you back from being your true self. You don't owe anyone an apology for your growth, your healing, your boundaries, your emotions, or the person you're becoming. The more you stop saying sorry for things that aren't wrong, the more confident, peaceful, and authentic your life becomes. You start making decisions based on self-respect instead of fear, and you begin to attract people who value the real you. So stand tall in your truth, protect your energy, and honor who you are, because the right people won't need an apology for the life you choose to live.